So thankfully, your day job has a little bit of flexibility so I could get you when we needed to. We're only 2.5 hours late today.
I'm your silver medal, dude. I'm your backup plan. I love it.
That's a deep, really good line. I'm your silver medal is that an expression?
I stole it. I think Family Guy, that like early Family Guy.
Okay, that's awesome. Justin, you're an interesting character. How long have we known each other now?
And I mean, I've been following you. I refer to you as the godfather of Cincy music.
I don't believe that's a potent enough title. I want to be some
Emperor?
kind of... no, I want something that has less like regalness, but like more threat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Kingpin of my corner.
Kingpin. I like Kingpin.
That could be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm selling Skechers on the streets, dude. Okay, I go to every... not half-price books. What's the half-price books of shoes? Discount shoe wear? Whatever.
DSW?
Bang.
There you go.
I'm selling Crocs on the side, too.
I like it. Do you know the funny story about Crocs?
No.
I don't want to tangent too much.
We can tangent as hard as we need to.
Okay, brilliant. So Crocs were, you know that movie Idiocracy?
Yes.
Okay, right. The concept being that everyone's getting dumber, and in 100 years, this guy gets like frozen in time. Average dude shows up 100 years later and is the smartest man on the planet. The costumer was looking for futuristic shoes that were so dumb that only these dumb people would wear these dumb shoes, and found Crocs.
Like the earliest...
This is for real. This is like a real story.
What year is this?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. To 10, 15 years, whenever Idiocracy came out. So it was like brand new company.
Yeah, and that's spectacular. Like, you know, I feel like this generation, because of the giblets, I mean, Crocs are not only a status symbol, but it's like, it's the collection of footwear. It's the foot-based wallet where you keep your street cred popped in there with your giblets.
It's there's been an arc. There's a journey with Crocs.
I went to like an album signing for Bootsy Collins for the release of his latest at Everybody's Records. And as I left there, I'm on Facebook Marketplace scrolling, as I typically do, to empty my mind of any other thoughts.
And wallet.
And I saw like, it was like Crociversary with these cowboy boot Crocs that were very Bootzilla. And I was so tempted, but I'm like, dude, they've really gone deep here from my understanding of how they're targeting me.
Right.
They know it was with Boots Nasty, and I might be interested in some Croc boots.
Ooh. Yeah, and they're listening all the time.
Yeah.
And also this concept of crocifying everything is really...
That's a bumper sticker waiting to happen. That's beautifully said. Crocified.
The world has been crocified.
Well, let's turn this artistic in some ways.
Okay,
I feel like...
that's right, we're doing a music podcast. That's it. Okay.
I don't even know if it's just going to include music. You have such an odd background in the arts. When did you decide that you were a creative kid?
Ooh, great question. When I was 3, I put on a show for my entire family where I danced Michael Jackson. I did not rehearse. Did not rehearse. And you know, it was great. It was fantastic. It blew everyone's minds.
Was it in the style of Michael, or was it just like a kid being a...
It was a 3-year-old move, just shaking his booty.
Yeah, very nice.
No. And yeah, actually, weirdly, that's kind of my first performance-y thing.
Yeah. That's the moment you became a ham.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. 100%. And then I got into a youth choir, a city youth choir when I was like, I don't know, middle school. That went into me going to performing arts high school and doing musical theater, and then like dancing professionally for a hot second. I got much better. And then I went to CCM here in Cincy for acting, and then moved out to LA and was an actor for many, many, many moons.
Yeah.
And then got into filmmaking. Finally stopped acting and realized I didn't have to live in LA and pay that rent, and I could live here and have a house and stuff. So I moved back here.
Nice. So when were you professionally dancing? Like end of high school?
Mm-hmm.
And that's like
End of high school into college.
Theater programs in Louisville, in LA?
Louisville, Kentucky is where I grew up. There was a dance company called Barking Dog Dance Company, but I did every dancer kind of has to study ballet, but I have a fun picture somewhere. I'll send it to you if you want to pop it in. And in case you do, I'm the guy on the right, in case you're confused. But yeah, I did, everybody studies ballet, but I did modern dance and jazz, which is like musical theater, dance, and tap.
Yeah.
And, that kind of fun stuff.
I feel like learning dance at a young age is such an interesting way to get to know the body. It's like you can play a sport and all they teach you is full steam ahead and like get a little bit of control on the ball.
Yeah.
But it's like to do that at a young age requires so much more consideration for how you appear in space and how you kind of interact with folks.
Yeah, I loved it. I think I would have done it. I got a full scholarship to an all-girls school.
How does that work?
Well, in the arts program, they always need need guys to do the things,
Nice.
right? So, I could have been a contender. Could have gone all the way, but I also knew myself. That's not the best environment for me to thrive in, and also I not a lot of money in dance. There's not I don't know. I didn't feel like there was
a path.
Yeah. Say the two musicians were like, oh, we chose well. Now we're doing great.
But in the world of dance, you need at least one other person, and it's like most likely you need 50 other people.
Yeah.
So had that been kind of intertwined with an acting career as a young high schooler? Were you in the school productions and doing all that?
Yeah. I was that kid. So I was the guy who was the lead in all the musicals and big musical theater nerd and guy. And that's how I got into acting. I was singing first, then dancing. Then it was like, if you put those two together, you can put you on stage and you could be a role. So then I went to college for acting.
Yeah. And what made you feel like that was the path at that point in time?
Ooh, I always have loved performing. I can kind of be shy in small groups or one-on-one, but in front of people, I love to perform. There's an energy, there's a conversation that's happening. I love it. And so, obviously musical theater, very big and flashy version of that. But as I started really trying to switch from I don't know, sort of goofy theater kid into artist, and I followed the thread of acting because I felt like it had the most. There was a philosophical base to it, understanding humans and people, and trying to authentically live in somebody else's truth. You learn a lot of empathy and a lot about human nature through acting. And I felt like this is going to serve me no matter what I do. And, the intention was always to be a professional actor, and I got to do that. But then it's informed, everything else I've done, creative or not.
Did you find it startling the first time that they removed the audience and you're performing for a cameraman? Yes and no.
So I love acting for camera. It's different, very different than acting for the stage. It's subtle, it's nuanced. You can have a whole scene and barely move the entire time, and everything's just happening in the eyes or in your breathing, how you breathe. You can see it on a 60-foot screen, and so it informs that kind of stuff, right? And there's 30 people standing around, crew people, and so everything centers down. Now I'm a filmmaker, so now I've been on both sides, but everything kind of settles down to this one moment. Director's called action, cameras are rolling, sound is speeding, and you really are just trying to capture this beautiful moment, and then you get to do it again, try something new. So I really, really like it more than theater. Also, I once forgot my lines during a play, and since then have been terrified about doing live theater ever again.
Interesting. I can't imagine that moment where it's everything about the flow. This depends on me pulling this up, and when you're looking for something like that, it's like looking for your keys. It's you might as well stop looking for your keys, and then you're gonna find them. But that's nightmarish.
It was the end of the play, but I had to just improv my way through the rest of it. I could not, for the life of me, find the words again.
Yeah.
So that was fun and deeply traumatic. And I've done some theater since then, but yeah, then I moved out to LA and did that.
Yeah. Well, you need those moments of startling panic, especially in your art in that way. It's it's the equivalent of getting yammed on in a basketball game where someone blocks you. It's to feel the weight of the world pushing back rather than just you moving forward. Like, those are such informative parts of a young person's life.
Yeah.
And for it to happen in a place that's supposed to be so joyful, and now it's just like, oh, it's really disturbing, to feel that pressure. So to like, you either go one of two ways with things like that. You become the champion of your circumstances, you learn to get over, or you never go back. And like, it seems like you went forward with it,
Theater, I haven't like had a lot of opportunities or sought a lot. Actually, no, I did a couple musicals in LA that I've completely forgotten about until now. So yeah, I went back, but I still flipped the. Can we curse on this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I curse like a pirate.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, no, I still flip the fuck out about lyrics, lines, memorizing things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a curse.
Is it easier to remember lines of lyrics than it is lines of dialogue?
It's a good question. I think it's more like the state that I'm in. If I'm really present and feeling it, and there's a line, because there's like, you're writing this line. If you're really present, you can. It's easier to sort of find the words, find the lyrics, because you're in it, right? You're just like, you're present to the emotions and all that stuff that's happened. But if you're like too into it, like you're too lost in the emotion, you can really easily lose the line that way. So you kind of got to find this balance. So doing a lot of just like relaxation stuff in anticipation of anything, a shoot, performance, open mic, right, is sort of key.
Yeah. Well, I think also having the checklist so the mind can be free to wander, but it also feels like we're moving in a straightforward path. Like I know what song I'm playing next, and I know my concept behind this, so things are just going to flow out. Like, not questioning it in the moment is an important part of getting through it smoothly.
I've also embraced that, like, even the pros have like Taylor Swift has a monitor on 5 or 6 corners of her stage that have the lyrics to like help with, in case that moment happens. Yeah. She can grab the thingy, right? I mean, in terms of like professional execution of show business musicianship, regardless of where somebody lands on her as a musician, she's top. And so I figure if like she's doing it, that's cool for me to do it. So I usually will have like an iPad there and never reference it. Yeah. But it's sitting there kind of down and inconspicuous, so that if I'm in that moment, I can find it. And if I mess up, I also just that's the key. Is like, you just keep going, Yeah.
Well, until there's fans to demand that you know every word of the song that they love, it's less of a pressure. But you've hit a pretty unordinary pace with how these songs have been growing, and there is like a level of intensity that comes along with that. You see, you're getting the messages that this meant something to someone, and having that kind of being an empathetic person, knowing that when you step up to bat, you want to hit it out of the park the way that they intended for you to. You want to meet the expectations. Yeah. Are you feeling the pressure of that kind of going into this first season of your own headlining shows and trying to be in front of those fans?
Yeah, because I'm, I'm a filmmaker, and in between those gigs, I am a consultant for the film industry. So I help people do fundraising and festivals and make introductions and produce shit and that kind of stuff, right? And so I'm on the phone for like 6-7 hours every day, and that's a heavy lift for a voice to then go have to sing. And 90 minutes of singing is like a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Especially when your voice kind of sits between a lot of falsetto work and like the upper end of your chest voice. Like it is a lot of work to maintain that kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's when it and it mostly does, right? But like when it's dialed in, I love writing that line of, I don't even want to say success and failure. I'm not really like binary in my thinking about that, but like, danger and safety maybe is a better way to put it.
In terms of like a vocal run that you haven't done before, or like
like vocals, the choices, the keys I choose to sing in, I could take everything down, a whole step and be fine, right?
In
But
a live setting, you're doing that?
no, I generally sing in the original key
Okay.
live. I do tune everything down a half step on the guitars just because I like the sound of it. But I also use capos obsessively, so rarely am I just in like standard D sharp
Yeah.
cowboy chords. Nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
No,
Cowboys use them.
it's-
Cowboys are awesome. In fact, they've got boots now by Crocs for cowboys. Brought it back around.
Crockiversary, baby.
Crockiversary, man.
Every day in my heart. Piano was your first instrument, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a cool teacher. I learned nothing about reading music or anything like that. God love him. He tried. It wasn't his fault. But yeah, big like Billy Joel, Elton John, and then Ben Folds.
Nice.
Ben Folds, huge influence of mine. And yeah, so piano was the first instrument there. And then I got in college and picked up guitar because obviously I wanted to like impress the ladies. I gotta know how to play guitar, man.
Well, when did you start doing like the open tunings? Because it doesn't feel
That's
like
new.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, I think we've talked about it off, in other conversations. But the music thing is like as a songwriter person, that's a couple years old. And the new tunings really started, I don't know, a year and a half ago, something like that.
And what do you find so appealing about doing those types of alternate tunings for your own writing?
I really like, not crunchy, like rich chords. The minor 11ths with the add 7th dominance kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I find that open tunings make those really accessible and use while still having like strong bass and foundation under it. And then you can find these interesting voicings of chords that add a layer, add a character, add a personality to the song. And they're not necessarily easier to play, but they have like a simplicity to them that can sometimes, in a weird way, like because it's a simpler approach, you can play more than maybe on a standard tuning. You might really be doing some weird finger aerobic-y stuff to try to get an approximation of a thing that you could just do with a different tuning.
Yeah. And do you find when you go into the open tunings that you're more just experimenting with the sounds rather than interpreting the chords? Like, it doesn't really matter what it is?
Yes and no. I know enough. I have enough music theory, and familiarity with the open tuning chords and inversions and stuff that I can always kind of find home base. But yes, like one of the limitations also is that you are generally sort of constrained to that tuning. And so finding ways to make that interesting, finding interesting voicings in that. How can I make that 4-chord, all the different ways that I can make that 4-chord. I'm going to take this off because it's jingling in my ear.
Yeah.
All the different ways that you can do a 4-chord and then that becomes part of the songwriting,
Yeah.
Obviously it's like, is this voicing giving me what I want?
And when you go to write in these more out tunings, do you like to set a guitar and walk away and then come back and do some writing and some dabbling? Or do you kind of find the tuning for the first time and say, oh, that gives me an idea?
Ooh. No, I generally set it. My guitar will sort of live in the tuning for a chunk of time, week or two at least. And I'll kind of play around with that tuning for a while until I find stuff. Generally, I write songs either in open D or in standard, D sharp standard, but in standard tuning. Only partially because of like performances, but then when I'm recording, I'll play a lot more.
Yeah. What was the first time you recorded yourself like with the kind of cross training that you come from?
When was it that first one? I don't remember the exact first one, but I do remember deciding to embrace recording. So I'm mostly deaf in my left ear. which is fun. And so I always told myself, like, there's no use in me recording. There's no use in me mixing. There's no use in me really building out any sort of studio or something like that. I should just write the songs and then pay somebody else to do that because I won't be able to hear things. And it took a while, but I finally just realized, like, I'm ultimately I'm writing music for me. And if it sounds good to me, and it sounds good to me, like, these professional recordings also sound good to me, then whatever my ear is missing or not getting, I can, especially releasing my own music, and I do have some help, particularly with mastering, but like sort of embracing the fact that like it is the limitations and the mistakes and that kind of stuff. If I wanted perfectly produced, tight recording and mixing, I'd be a pop person, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not.
Well, have you found that in doing the recording and whatnot yourself that you've been happy with the results, or are you kind of enjoying the uphill battle of?
Uphill battle. I even the songs that are out now that are doing great. Every time I listen to them, I'm like, ooh, I could do this, And it isn't about the perfectionism. I'm good about like getting to a done time to release state. But even as a filmmaker, I remember I'm still doing it, but like, as a filmmaker, like I'll finish a film, and one of the most exciting parts of that is to be like, okay, what did I need to learn? What did I not do well? What did I like nail this time? What do I want to make sure I have in the future? What's essential? And it's the same thing with music. I'll finally get done with a song, kind of send it off into the world, and then hear like, oh yeah, wish I had a little bit more, Strawberry Moon's second verse. If I got just a little something in there to like kind of carry that energy before we get into that chorus. Song's doing great, but I think if you're not growing, you're dying. And I want always to be growing with my music.
Do you ever go back and listen to your other records before you finish a project to try to tap back into the could have done this better, could have done that better? I like this.
Yeah, I'm definitely somebody who listens to their own music. And so I kind of have like a little playlist that's 50 songs or something, that are everything from like the little half-formed ideas to, oh, this got released and so now it's in the playlist kind of thing. And yeah, I'm like constantly listening to it, constantly listening to other musicians that I admire, and for the first time, frankly, in my life, really listening to like, how did they do that? I like that thing. There's a great like indie folk artist named Charlie Bishop out of California, and I'm just like mildly obsessed with him right now, Yeah, and like he's got a production ear that I really admire. And that's the fun thing is like not knowing how to do something, I can like get on YouTube, ChatGPT, practice and play, and when I finally am able to dial it in, oh my gosh, the like feeling of success for the process rather than, getting a result.
Yeah. So you have your first like headlining show on June
6th.
June 6th at
Elliott Coffee in Dayton, Kentucky. So it's like 5 minutes down the road from Newport on the Levee.
Cool. And there's tickets available for
Tickets
this?
are available, yeah.
Cool.
You can go to primalpanic.eventbrite.com.
Yeah. And you talk about kind of sequencing your ideas to listen back. Have you made a set list for that and kind of listened in sequence?
Yep.
What's it been like to start to organize the catalog in that kind of way?
Yeah, it's really interesting. First off, a lot of like insecurity pops up of, okay, I tend to write, as my brother lovingly calls it, like sad bastard music, right? But I don't want the energy to be down the whole time, and I don't want it to be sad the whole time. And so like finding ways to bring in some of my higher tempo or more, upbeat songs, interspersing that, and then trying to figure out, okay, well, does that work rhythmically? Does that work story-wise? Because a lot of storytelling happens during the show. And that's so, the insecurity is just like, oh no, are people gonna like it? Are people gonna like it? Are they gonna be bored? And I did do like a 60-minute. So this is gonna be like 80 or 90 minutes. I did a 60-minute set at the beginning of the year down in New Albany, and same concerns. And the feedback was like, this is great, this is great. So I think we artists often are so much harder on ourselves than the audience who shows up and is like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing yourself with us.
Especially when you have that uninterrupted time to really get the idea across. It's like, what can you really do in a 30-minute set? It's like it starts to feel like those constraints are taking the fun out of it for you. But then when you have, what feels like a full show worth, then you start to impose ideas or rules to yourself that are just unnecessary for the audience's perspective.
Yeah, totally. And that's the fun. I mean, I love performing. Once I'm up there, I'm like in flow. We were talking about, before we started, like it's all the prep stuff. Like, I want to put together a good show. I love this coffee house. It's amazing. Everybody should go to. It's called Elliott Coffee, and they're starting to like become a venue, and so I'm like on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And so I want it to go really, really well, and I want it to like connect and. But I also know that I'm only in control of so much, the prep, and so I'm going to prep like a crazy man and show up on the day and go for the ride.
Yeah. Well, I find it's tough to deal with dissatisfaction from shows when you put so much time into it. Like what did I want it to be like? I don't know, 6 million people screaming and buying merch so I can walk away and then go vacation in Cabo. Like, I don't know. But it typically doesn't feel like enough at the end. And that's probably a personality trait at times. But do you ever feel that way walking away from shows where people say, you sounded great, I loved it, and you're like, it was all right?
Yeah. That's why I do a lot of open mics, so that I could inure myself to that, like kind of build up the resiliency of, I'm going to go out there. It's going to do what it does. It may not be up to my standards, but like, great. Almost like, let's get that performance out of the way then. If there's a certain number of those performances in me, good and bad, for the rest of my life, like let's burn through them.
Yeah, let's burn through the L's as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
When I first saw you was at the Southgate open mic.
I remember.
And I just gone in just on a whim with the wife. I was like, let's just go hear some people really giving it their all. Because typically if I'm hearing music, it's either artists I've taken the time to go see, or it's just like it's a band in a club, and typically it's covers. And it's like that doesn't get my heart. I want to go see someone who's putting everything into it. And you were so odd compared to what I expected to get that day. You walk up, you're wearing what I call a
poncho.
tunic. You call it a poncho. If it doesn't have water resistance, it's not a poncho to me. We can fight about this on or off the air, but
Fair.
You're wearing that, and you walk up and you say, I just had to break up today. Here's a song for it. Yeah. It's just like, it was such a great delivery and hook, and I was in. And yeah, I love Southgate House. Morella, who runs it, and the people that make that place special are angels of our music community, and they don't get their flowers enough. That being said, the sound in the lounge can be horrific. So what I was experiencing, I was like, I'm really enjoying this guy's set, and it's at 40% capacity. Mm-hmm. It's so far from optimal in my mind. I'm still really enjoying it. So getting to shake your hand after, be like, I love that. Let's do whatever, whenever. Yeah. I don't think it all kind of came to a head until I was driving down to Florida and you're playing the Muse, and I just got it rocking in my car speakers. And like, I kind of got emotional during some of your tunes. I really felt your arrival in my life with your music in that moment. And I think there's this really cool experience as being someone that's somewhat new to this chapter of your life.
Totally.
For the way that you can arrive in people's lives and just be exactly what they needed to hear in that moment.
Wow, man. That's I appreciate that.
Dude,
That's a lot, man.
You do it really wonderfully. My buddy Jordan has this great expression. He's like, I feel like my life didn't exist without that song at any point in time. Once it had come in, there was no going back. And some of your songs get stuck in my head in that kind of a way. Like, so
Wow.
we are going to go to Strawberry Moon at some point. Would you mind playing that for us?
Yeah. You want to do? Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it
Let's
now.
rock and roll. Okay, sweet.
There's songs that were meant to be written, and if you didn't, someone else would. Like, I think this is one of those tunes.
I appreciate that.
Please give the bit about this song, just because I love the bit for this song.
All right. So, had a terrible, awful, traumatic, painful, yucky divorce, and so I've got the kids half the time, and they're in swim club, and I take them to the swim practice. And there, I just fall like madly in love with their swim coach. Just, it's nuts. And like we're talking, we're flirting, and the kids are racing. Like we should be paying attention. She looks up in the sky, and there's this like bright, ginormous full moon. It's in June, and I'm like, oh, look at that. And she goes, yeah, that's a strawberry moon. I was like, huh, what? Yeah, strawberry moon. It's like the last moon of spring, first moon of summer, like change and transformation. She's just looking at me with these like, I'm like, so I go home and I write a song. It's like way too much. She can never hear it ever. But you guys can. She'd be like, whoa.
Did you have the kids that night? Did you put the kids to bed and then write this?
Yes.
Dude, what up? Dating with children seems tough.
It's a thing.
That's one of those moments, like, it's so poetic. Like, go to bed. I have something to do. I have a song itching the back of my brain, just begging to come out.
Yep. And this was the song. I don't know the color of your eyes, 'cause I go blind when you smile. I can't wait to know you soon. Tell me about the strawberry moon. Take me to your field of flowers. Let's lose time till it's ours. I don't know what to do. I just know I want to do it with you. Autumn now, in the middle of June. All I want is strawberry moon. Strange strange, I guess, to love a stranger. My reckless heart still a traitor. Busted up and on inside. Goddamn, never felt more alive. Autumn fell in the middle of June. All I want is a strawberry moon. Autumn night in the middle of June. All I want is strawberry moon.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
Thanks, man. Actually, I haven't played that for a while.
That song is a killer.
Man, I think about her a lot.
Understandable, dude.
Hey,
She's
and
right-
summer's coming up, and they're
Dude.
in the swim team again, so who knows?
Who knows?
Wish me luck, everyone.
Dude, I'll just be outside the swim meet holding a boombox, just playing that song. And she'll be like, "Who's that?" You'll be like, "I don't know him." I'll be like, "Justin, it's Matt. This is that song, dude."
I don't know who he is. Am I good to take this out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just film me a music video without consent. That's wrong.
Consent is sexy.
Yeah, dude, that's it. How'd you feel when you finished writing that? When you kind of stepped away from it and you can kind of look at the thing?
You know, if I'm just being honest, I was like, ooh, I think I found something here. I don't even know what this song. So that riff I had been playing with for weeks. I think I had like a fully like lyrics song to that riff that like wasn't working, right? Or I was trying to make it work. And I came home. That felt like the feeling.
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, too, like, I you know, I don't get too much into it, but I'd gone through this awful divorce and, like, been numb. It was kind of the first time I stopped being numb, really. And that was a gift. And so I think that song, for me, is that milestone. It's a marker. I mean, all my songs are sort of journal entries, but that one definitely is like, oh, this is new, and I don't feel just numb in the dark anymore.
Well, cathartic, I think, is overused in music. Like it's one of those things that we say, but was it really? Like, there's songs that have come in a well of tears, and it meant a lot to me in the moment of writing it. And in retrospect, it's trash. That's fine. It was still cathartic. But when a song feels personally healing, and then it can go out and do that for other people, that's when you know you've done it. And I find that song to be like startling on the nose for that. I always say, like, the song's like a room that you build. You put up the walls, you put up the ceiling, then you start to put shit in it, and we make it comfy. So that song is a hammock underneath the stars, baby. That song's just right. But it's hard to tell that right after the fact. Like, it's kind of similar to what you said about recording. Like, there's an understanding that, oh, I did that one for me, and I needed that.
Yeah.
And there's such a great settling in that. For folks that never get to know that feeling,
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't do heavy drugs. You know, it's like Because I think that's what you're chasing. Like, not to sound cheesy, but like, that is a very addictive experience. When I go weeks without that feeling, I start to feel very low. And it's hard to express that to people that haven't done it before.
Yeah.
But, the same feeling of stepping away from a painting or a film, or just like to have your hard work look back at you and to feel like you've completed the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever lose that feeling during the recording process?
I think that can sometimes be a struggle. You start trying to dial in the production elements of it to a point where you forget why you're making the song,
Yeah.
You're trying to get it to sound cool or good or something. And it's like, I do that with lyrics or with singing sometimes. Aim for pretty as opposed to like present, connected.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I like live is all that gets stripped away. Like you or you're gonna have a bad time, right? So yeah, sometimes. But again, as we were saying earlier, in terms of like learning and all that shit, you do that a couple times, and then you start going like, why does this feel? What changed? Why is the demo on my iPhone so fucking good? And this sounds pretty, but not good.
Yeah. Lightning in a bottle is such like an oddly on point expression. And it's such a bitch to acknowledge, where it's like the amount of days I've wanted to crack a computer over my knee, but knowing that my knee probably couldn't take the brunt of that hit. But like, just the anger of knowing that thing in that experience and never getting there. And sometimes it's just the romance of retrospect. Like, I remember that being awesome. And it's just not in real life. But then you need other voices to tell you, like, nope, stop, that's great. Leave it, leave it, leave it.
Yeah. Not that I'm going to do it right this second, but I know I was going to play a different song, another song, but I'm thinking I'm going to play, you've heard me do Here I Go, I think.
I don't think I have.
Okay. It's another one that's sort of like milestone, like a journal entry. And talking about catharsis and that kind of stuff is something where, that was the thing, I went through all this stuff and I tried to write a script. That's what I usually do. But it wasn't fast enough even to handle the changing feelings, rage and pain and betrayal and missing and grief and rage. And this is where the songwriting came from. It was just like, I have to get this out of me, and I can't afford any more therapy. So much therapy.
Let's play it now. I'm itching to hear it now.
Oh, okay. Cool. I teed myself up.
Yeah, as you should. So, did this come before Strawberry Moon? Like, this is just when you started writing after that divorce?
Actually, I think so. This might have been, and there's a high part at the end. We'll see how I feel. But,
are you still plugged in over there?
Oh, no, I'm not. Thank you.
Technicalities. Friends, just remember, when your guitar's plugged in, it's using the battery that's in there. Don't be draining your batteries unless you're trying to kill the turtles. And if you're trying to kill the turtles, sign the petition so I have your name and address, because we're coming after you. Me and all the Teenage Mutants.
Nice. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I think this was the first time I'd written songs before this that I really liked, songs that I still like are part of the catalog and I connect with. And funnily enough too, since I haven't released a lot of it and I'm doing the show, one thing that's happening is I'm like, oh, I haven't sang this in a year. I'm a better lyricist now, so I got to change this verse kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. There's a sweet spot of that much space too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if I tried to rewrite that verse the week after I wrote it,
yeah,
I'm a little too married, and I don't want to kill the children in that kind of way.
Yeah.
Versus a year later, it's like, no, I can tell you exactly why that's trash, and here comes 5 other ideas, and I don't care because I have better, newer songs, so this one can be toyed with.
Right. This was the first one that I was like, nailed it, but not in the like, oh, I think the song is whatever, but nailed exactly what I was trying to say.
Mm.
This was like a year and a half after the divorce and all the awful stuff that went on around it, and I was so like just stuck in it, ruminating constantly, trying to make sense of all of it. And it was late at night. I write all these songs late at night. It was late at night, and I realized, like, I have to move on. I have to move on. I have to move my body. I have to move on from this thing. I have to, like, try to go. So here I go. And that's the song. Tired, I don't sleep. Hungry, I don't eat. I cannot feel this feeling inside, this feeling I feel. God knows I tried. Fear don't feel me now. Sold my scales today. Hid my mirror away. I could not see the me before you. The me that I was lost in your truth. But I can see me now. Here I go. Here I go. Take a second look. I did it by the book. All of these words are worthless and one written in stone. Where did we go wrong? I won't speak them now. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. Here I go. I have to move and move on from this, but I can still taste the edge of your kiss. Poison and ash, still sweeter than wine. Weary from wrestling you in my mind. I've got to let you go. Here I go. emotional in the middle.
I heard some of that,
Yeah.
but that's
I don't know
those
if
are
I've done
great.
that quite yet.
As an audience member, those are beautiful things to hear. It's just like, is it controlled or not? And it was very well controlled. It's
I
like,
was on the edge, bro.
yeah, but you kind of hope for that. Like, I heard something the other day where it's like, we have a little bit of a sickness of enjoying people's pain through music, because almost like you get to experience it without having to put it on yourself. Maybe that's why people like torture movies. I don't know that. I
don't
know.
really watch them.
Yeah, I can't watch Saw or anything like that. It makes me sick. Not my jam. No. But it looks like they're using jam. You know, you know what I'm saying? No, that's like there's something about someone really getting close to that feeling again, where it's just like, regardless what you think about it, if you know that feeling, at least now someone else is in the room with you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not alone in that. I also enjoy in your set where it's like, there's things that you're clearly out here to share, but you don't need to tell someone why this should be resonant for them. You know, telling the specificity, the real personal reasons behind it, people will relate it to themselves more than being like, this is for everyone that's had a lot of heartbreak in their life.
Yeah.
You know, some of those moments like that can take me out of it. To feel like you're trying to put me in a net does not feel as resonant as show me that you're on the hook and I might also get on the hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the first song of this whole chapter.
Yeah. That was the first song that was like, that's what I'm trying to say. That's the thing all stuck up inside of me. And it was probably like song 20.
Okay.
Maybe 15, something like that.
That's what a good reminder to everybody is like, the craft is writing when it's not there. So when you've worked on the craft and it is there, it's magic. It's arrival. But you had to do it 15 times to get the sentiment right. It's not that it's that line or this line. It's like, it's not lightning in a bottle. It's not there in this thing. And wrestling with that brings up so many awful feelings of, is it me or is it the song? Is it me or is it the song? And there's a great part of that where it is you, but it's you at this point in time that is so evocative that it even chokes you up doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's going to be there for people outside of you when you're done with it, you know?
Yeah. It lives under, you know, there's that old saying, you know, three chords and a truth, two chords and a truth. I'm still new to music. I'm learning the old sayings.
3 chords and the truth.
3 chords and the truth, right? Yeah.
That classic Nashville.
And I think there's a lot of truth to that. You know, I don't think it has to necessarily come out in the way that it often does, but you know, we've talked about this just as friends. Like, I think authenticity and self-awareness are so incredibly important. And it isn't about having those things so that you can fix them even or get better at things or like that makes you, you know, good job, like, you know, gold star for having that kind of stuff. But it just allows you to like experience yourself more and mine that more. And as an artist, that's like so essential because that's, I think, what art is all these experiences, all these feelings, all of these opinions, all the stuff that's inside of us coming out in a way that we feel is an expression of those things. So if you don't know them, if you don't explore them, if you don't go spelunking in your inner cave, like, how are you going to bring out those treasures?
Yeah.
And then the weird thing for me is then they live outside of me, you know? I mean, there's a certain point where it becomes other people's too. And that is a strange, it was always with film, but film is such a long process that by the time you're done, there is plenty of objectivity that's happened, right? Because it's so time consuming. But with a song, you know, you might write it in a night and then it exists on a stage the next day and then people are coming up being like, oh, that really resonated with me. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that like somehow lives out of me now.
Totally. It's no longer yours once it's on a page.
Yeah.
And that's nice for removing some of the preciousness of it. Like, I really like what you were touching on before, where there's certain things about ourselves that you don't need to change, just need to be aware of. My uncle is a great painter, and he told me as a kid, he's like, you need to look at one corner of that painting and know that it's not done, but you will not finish it. And just move on from it. And being aware of some of those things, like they're isms of your character, and you can't eradicate those. And the more you try to, the more phony you kind of become to yourself. Like, I know I'm gullible. I kind of like that about myself, but I'm trying to read some books about it, so I'm a little less persuadable by dumb shit.
Yeah.
One time, what I believed was a holy man in New York City pulled me aside, wanted to tell me my future, and we talked for maybe 45 minutes. In the end, he goes, that'll be $300. I went, what? And he's like, a rich man will give me $300 right now. It's like, I ain't no rich man. But I did give him money, and I regret that to this day. I was like, dude, I just got punked. Made me feel good, but I just got punked.
Yeah.
But those moments where you have to come to terms with something that just is you, but you can let it be outside of you, and you can still be present and be free to explore those things. Spelunking is a really funny way to put that, because you might get stabbed to death. You know?
Yeah. You might fall to your death.
You might fall on a very sharp rock, but it's important. It's a good thing for you.
Otherwise, you just never, man. I pity, not in a shitty way. Just it's sad when people are afraid of entering that cave, and like there are terrors in there. So it isn't like a judgment, me saying that, right? Sometimes there are terrifying monsters that are living in that cave, and you do not want to go in, understandably. But then in a weird way, that cave ends up ruling your life, and your whole life is really in the cave, you know?
Yeah, if you can't truly acknowledge the things you're afraid of, you always be in fear of them.
Yeah.
But that's why you need high traction shoes to go in the cave. And I'm going to bring us back to the Croc-averse.
Yeah. Surely they have caving shoes. If that's a thing.
If you don't like holes on the top, we can put holes on the bottom so you can spelunk and feel it, you masochist. You sick bastard.
Somebody's into that,
dude,
I'm sure.
Guaranteed.
Barefoot spelunking is some subculture niche that is on YouTube with millions of views.
Put a thumbtack in my boat shoes just because I like the thrill. Do you ever wish you started writing younger?
Oh, I tried. That's a good question. No. I don't think I could have. I think, you know, particularly in my 20s, like, you know, the war between wanting to be an authentic person and the ego of being an actor, you know, like the heavy lift of just trying to exist, and particularly like in Los Angeles, like subsist, is a lot. And then you would get these, you know, I'd have some big giant role in some cool thing, and it would be like you're almost living off of that to the next thing. And what happened with this divorce was like, I was so utterly shattered that my body and mind was like, you can't do anything right now. Like, you can't out hustle this, you can't outwork this, you can't out problem solve this, you can't out charm this. Like, you're gonna just be here for a long time. So what do you want to do? And I think I finally was forced to be still and not make a thing happen. And the irony of ironies, of course, is then when like things started happening. And so, you know, do I have regrets about things in my life? For sure. But I don't think I could have written any of this music before this happened. Even the not divorcey stuff. I went deep in the cave, you know, and I wouldn't have found those treasures that were way, way deep down there because I was like tossed in by the ex, you know. and with no safety equipment, like just not ready. Um, and yeah, and I don't think I could have mined what I've mined now. Not a big fan of the like artists have to suffer thing. I've made great art as a filmmaker, in that period, as an actor, things I'm very, very proud of. But music being such a like a direct line to an immediate experience or feeling or the soul. I don't think I could have done that. I don't know if I had that direct line yet.
Mm. My mom's always told me this expression of it in relation to religion. It's like if you don't go to your knees, God will put you there.
Mm.
And like there's something about it. I think our 20s especially where we're living thinking that we can control the thing that happens next. And like at the tail end of my 20s, I felt that more than ever. Like I thought I was in control. You are fucking crazy. I mean, you're in a smart car and this is a tornado. Like you're getting lifted off the ground. Like you thought you could drive. You ain't going fucking nowhere. You're itty bitty in the scheme of this. And it's really odd the way that people view their callings at every stage of your life. You try to imagine the things you're called to do. You're called to be a parent. You were called to be a husband. You were called to be a filmmaker, and now you're called to do this. But this may have been something that you never asked to do. You know, at the highest level of vocations, doing the things that you didn't want to because you felt compelled to.
Yeah.
And I'd imagine there wasn't a lot of resistance behind this, but was there ever a sense of like shedding your identity as a filmmaker and actor to be a musician? Or was it an and, not an or?
Ooh. Well, I still make films, but early April, and we're in what, early May? So a month ago was the first time I felt like I could even call myself a musician. My brother's is incredible composer and musician, and so he's always like been the family musician, right? So talented on so many levels, and like I've always sang, and played instruments, but like to really own that I'm a musician still feels a little tough for me. Because I also didn't get into it too, like you were kind of saying, like this wasn't like, oh, this is now my lifelong dream since I was a kid, or even like, okay, now I'm doing this and I'm gonna like do what I've always done, which is like hustle and build like a business around it and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I writing in a diary wasn't gonna cut it, and so this is that. So I kept saying for the first year and a half, I don't want to do anything. Like I didn't release music. I don't want to do anything with this. I got kids. When am I going to go like on tour? Or all that stuff, right? And about a month ago, I just kind of remembered one of my axioms, which is like we're all going to die one day. Do I want to spend my time seeing this like interesting possibility over there and like giving myself all the reasons to like tiptoe into it and explore it, or maybe not, or do I do what I did as a kid, which I've always loved about kid me, which is like run headlong into it. I'm just gonna do it. And with the wisdom of age comes this weird ability to be both naive and wise, to be like, I'm gonna do this for the fun of it. I'm gonna do it because what a great way to spend time writing music, meeting you, hanging out, learning these things, increasing a skill set, expressing feelings, processing and coping with feelings and thoughts. That's a great thing, and why not see what else can come with it, And I'm not. I guess the difference now is like I'm not really affected by the result of a music career. And when and that struggle was why I couldn't call myself a musician, because okay, well now does that mean that that's what I'm doing? but I landed on no. It's the process. It's the journey before the destination. It's the little daily activities, and that's what I love. That's what I want to pursue. And the cool thing is, like, there might be some career in it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and to let it be free and to kind of steer its own ship without putting weight on it initially is important. Like, I feel similar where I want to hustle. I want to go all in on something. And it's like, well, if you go all in too early, then you haven't fully built the thing up to bear the weight of everything at once. And that's tough, especially when you're someone that has been able to do that in other dimensions of life. Like, sometimes I wish I didn't make my full living playing music so that I could put more of my heart into just the music, rather than put my everything in there, and I need to keep a little bit of my heart to keep myself afloat in that, Yeah. So there's this interesting give and take to be had there. But
and you got to, like, because people will hear, I make, full time musician, living full time, and like so many musicians are probably like, oh my God, that's what I want, and it's like, maybe, there's gonna be a trade off.
Yeah.
I want to do festivals and live stuff. I don't really want to tour necessarily, but like I want to do, but I only get my kids 50% of the time now, and half of their childhood I don't get to be there, so I have to make decisions then about how I spend Friday and Saturday nights. Currently, that's when I have the kids. That's such a great time, and I get them for the kind of that first part of the weekend and that stuff. And there's always going to be a trade-off. So if you're not doing it because either you love it, well, yeah, because you love it, you're passionate about it. Of course, there's responsibilities. We all have to check boxes, and that's just the nature of the beast. And there's a way, I think, to do that. To have a music business, and also keep the love and keep the passion. But that's a balance that can really knock people over.
Yeah.
Especially
when you're gonna be self-employed in any of this. It's like the call to action is constant when you're not checking in and checking out of someone else's dreams. Like, you're living in your own, and that needs to feed your family and pay your mortgage. So you might be playing in a Mexican restaurant this week and understand that you don't know La Bamba as well as you probably should for this gig. I have a guy that still comes to my gigs, and I love him dearly. His name's Miguel, and he constantly asks for La Bamba, and I'm like, at this point, he's just trolling me.
Yeah.
But the amount of times I felt like I've let someone down by not knowing the random shit that they want me to know, whether it's somebody's wedding or it's the corner of a dive bar and they want this. It's like, you have to walk that line of, do you let it go on its own, or do you start to put weight on it and try to steer this bitch? Because you ain't the rudder, baby. You just behind the wheel, but it's going to go where it goes.
It's going to go where it goes.
Yeah.
Man. That is such a truth of life. It's gonna happen around you, and the best thing that you can do is learn how to. It's such a cliche, but like, go with the flow. Learn how to like move with the rhythms, whatever metaphor. Because like the idea that like we are conducting this orchestra is like, nope, shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Most of the marriage with my ex was pretty bad, except for the last 5 years was amazing. It's amazing that therapists is like, you guys are my like star people. Like, yeah, I got an apology from her after all was said and done.
You telling me that?
I know.
That's crazy.
And it was like, it was the last vestige of somebody who just kind of never liked me. Pretending and like trying really hard to pretend because they wanted somebody else. And yeah, that it messes with your head. Because like at that point I thought, cool, nailed it. The therapist is, you guys have nailed it. You've learned the communication styles. You learn about your attachment theory. I mean, my moniker is Primal Panic. That came from therapy,
Tell me that story.
I I'm really concerned about some things that I'm seeing. Yeah, you're experiencing something called primal panic, which is when you have an insecure attachment wound. You feel very threatened, that attachment might not be safe, but you're safe. Nope.
Dude, I love that.
I was like,
insecure attachment wound.
yeah, yeah. And when she said it the first time, I was like, that's like a band name. Like if I was ever going to do like a punk band name, man, that would be it. And then when I was finally deciding to release music, I was like, I think I'm going to do that punk band name, even though it's very not punk. Maybe it is punk now too. I don't know. I don't really know the punk rules. But yeah, that's where that came from, And like, so the idea of control, the idea that like the happiest I've ever been in that relationship, just nope. Right. And like, I hope everybody like doesn't have to go through hitting rock bottom and their reality kind of being like flipped on its head to learn the lesson of like, yeah, like life's going to happen and you just got to take it one day at a time and know that this too shall pass and focus on being the person that you want to be, your values, the things that you want to go for, and listening to that voice rather than all the voices around you saying that you should be happier, healthier, wealthier, skinnier, more famous, have X amount of monthly followers. Yeah, that's a fun story. I tangent a lot because, ADHD. But I had a musician friend who was like, I was asking, like, what's your metric for numbers? And he was like, 10,000 monthly followers or monthly listeners, right? That's success. That means I've succeeded and made it, right? And in my head, I'm like, okay, that sounds like a big metric.
Congrats on touching it.
Right. And then I touch it, and I haven't made it. You know what I mean? Like I'm at that beginning, and it's so easy for all of us, and there's reasons, but it's easy for all of us to take these external metrics and opinions and input and culture and whatever, and try to like line up with that, and like it doesn't matter. It's all bullshit. We're all gonna die anyway, and all you can do is like be happy. Do I like this process of releasing music? Yeah, mostly. There's some things I don't like, so maybe I don't do them, or maybe I get better at them because that's like a challenge for me to increase a skill.
Yeah,
but I like it.
Yeah, you saying like you hope not everyone needs to hit rock bottom to know that. It's like I think everyone needs to learn their rock bottom to enjoy any part of life. Like the flat earthers are all looking for the edge. You should too. It's like you need to know.
Actually,
my only hope is that you don't fall off the thing and go looking for a way to get back up. It's like experience what you think is the lowest, and then start to push for the highest and find yourself content within the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so much of life, if you have enough disciplines and things you love, like your disposition is choosing to see like there's still a little bit of water left in that thing. That cup is empty as fuck, but there's a little bit left. I'm gonna lean on that for now. And you, my brother, are a champion of these circumstances, and you have used the negative pressure sign in your life to make diamonds that you share with other people, which I think is really beautiful. And I've greatly enjoyed the chance to become friends, to get to work together on some things, and I'm looking forward to seeing whatever comes next. Thanks, which is going to be June 6th.
June 6th.
At Elliott
Coffee. Yeah, I Am Primal Panic is, .com is the website. At I Am Primal Panic is Instagram. That's probably easier than remembering some weird Eventbrite thing, but you can go to any of those places and find.
And they're joining us for the Recipe Family Music Fest on June 21st in Evendale, Ohio.
Heck yeah.
You want to wrap this up with a song?
Sure. The one coming out.
Yeah,
the one's
let's
coming
do
out.
it.
Okay. So this one is coming out in... Oh, and funny since we started talking about some of this stuff, too.
Plug that guy in as well.
Oh, sure, whatever.
Sure.
Whatever.
Plugs are, what's the piece of our imagination? It's not the term I was looking for, but it's close enough. Besides your plug that you buy stuff from, you know what I'm saying? You need that guy, but everything else, it's metaphorical.
I love it. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so this is called Good Man. It is ironic. And now that you've heard some of the stories, it might make some sense. Saw me well, you could tell we would be fine. Stand up, guy, you don't lie, now he calls you mine. He's good, 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 good man. He's good, 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 good man. In my state, I can't wait to prove you wrong. I know best, let it rest, but it's been so long. He's good, 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 good man. 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 I was good, 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 good man too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Primal Panic. Justin, thank you for coming on today, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right,
Appreciate
friends.
it.
Make sure you tune in and find his shows. Check them out online, and we'll catch you next time here for the Weekly Wave.